you need to read Jesus' sermons. He was a great preacher. And I take great counsel in the fact that Jesus was a storyteller. He was a great storyteller. And he didn't have illustration books like we have, or novels, or whatever we read. Didn't have a newspaper with current stories in it. But Jesus often took illustrations from the things he saw. He'd be walking along. He had a fig tree one day, and he gave an illustration. Notice in verses 9 and 10, Jesus illustrating these principles. What man is there among you who, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for a fish, will he give him a serpent? Jesus wants to make prayer very practical, not philosophical, not overly spiritual. Do you remember when Jesus was in the wilderness being tempted by Satan? Satan said to him, "Why don't you turn this stone into a loaf of bread?" What's often lost in that story is that the stones in the region looked like small loaves of bread. I have no doubt that Satan pointed to a stone that resembled a loaf and said, "Why don't you turn that into bread?" Now Jesus is using the same analogy. He says, which of you as a father, if your son comes to you and says, "I need a loaf of bread," would pick up a stone from the ground and say, "Here, have this instead"? Or he said, consider how fishing was done. Fishermen gathered their catch with nets, and sometimes a water snake would get caught along with the fish. Jesus says, which of you, when your son asks for a fish, would hand him a snake instead? Pretty preposterous illustrations when you stop and think about it. Then he drives the point home. Here's what he says. If you, being evil, and he doesn't mean worst evil possible, he just means in comparison to God, we're evil. If you, imperfect as you are, know how to give good gifts to your children, do you not think God will do the same thing for you? You're his child. If you, being sinful, know how to respond to your children's needs, how much more will God respond to his children? That's the illustration. That's the way we are to approach God in prayer. Yet, friends, I want to tell you, there are many Christians who pray as if they have to break down God's reluctance, as if they must bang on the door until he finally listens.